All right, says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. Sorry for being a little bit late. I even pushed the stream back, but I still couldn't make it in time. I was just busy doing some of the stuff over on the Patreon side, and I had to get baseball up and whatnot. But looking forward to today's race. Should be a fun one. I think it's a very interesting slate. We have big PD guys. We have guys starting up front that look like excellent plays. Lots of decision making to be made, so I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you guys let me know if you can hear me before I talk too much, because that would be bad if not. Dude says we hear and see me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I see we already got a lot of people waiting, about 100 people waiting. Do appreciate everyone stopping by today. Should be a fun race. Talladega's fun for entertainment purposes. Bristol Dirt was, I guess, fun to watch, but it's nice to be back to a somewhat normal track, a little bit easier to project. Should be a fun race today. Just going to tell you right now, Hendrick is a large part of my lineups. What's up, Andre? Good morning, Chris and race fans. Yeah, should be a good one, Andre. Should be a good one. What's up, Chris? What's up, Mass? Nice to have you here. Usually you're driving at this time. What's up, Geb? Luke says, play the Hendrick cars today? Just what I said. I'm right there with you. Dominators over PD. Yeah, for tournaments, I'm definitely pretty heavy on the Hendrick driver starting up front. I actually have William Byron is not my highest owned driver on DraftKings currently. I'm still working out my exposures. I just tried to do some crunches this morning. I'm gonna kind of key in right after this live stream is over. But over on Fanduel, I am almost going to be close to lock buttoning William Byron, I think, just because dominator points aren't as important. But on DK, I would definitely be more inclined to get to Larson and Elliott over Byron in tournaments, just because their ceilings. William Byron's got a huge ceiling too. I'm not saying Byron can't lead, and I still have a large chunk of Byron in my lineups, but I think the ceilings for Larson and Elliott a little bit higher, and I think their chances of getting up front is definitely a lot easier. I'm sure most would agree with that as well. Because it's not like in the weeks prior where you can just play anybody you want. Like with I believe we have 3K, not 3K, 3 guys above 11K on the slate. Yeah, William Byron, Elliott, and Larson. So you can't just jam them all in like we could at Richmond and Martinsville. What's up, Daryl? See Penn from Radiant Throne. Know you're in my Discord. Appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully we have a good race today. Luke says competition caution on lap 40. Should be a lot of cars in lead lap. I'm pretty happy they did the competition caution because I just have I had nightmares of Chris Buescher leading the entire first stage, which would have sucked. Which, I mean, he still could. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I'm planning on being underweight on Chris Buescher today, but if he does set sail, at least we can kind of re-rack the pool balls after a competition caution on lap 40. So, but I really do think either Larson or Elliott gets up front and dominates quite early. If I had to take a lean on it, it would be kind of Larson for me, but it's very close. Kev says, Ross lock. I like Ross a lot. I'm not locking him, but I do like Ross Chastain quite a bit today. I think he's just underpriced for what he's done so far this season. Like, I think Chastain should be above Truex and Hamlin. I mean, I realize they have better name value, but Chastain's been, a top-level driver so far this season. Got done up for man Spread, who I know is working today, so I do appreciate you stopping by still. Thoughts on fading Byron? So I kind of talked about it. And by fading Byron, I would not recommend not playing any Byron, because we're not talking about just a regular PD guy that doesn't have the potential to get up front. We're talking about William Byron, one of the best drivers in NASCAR so far this season. And so I know he's starting in the very back, but there's still a chance he could get up front. And I think the competition caution, in case he just can't get much momentum going at the beginning, should help him at least gain some spots at the beginning and get him closer to the front. But as far as going underweight to the field in tournaments, it makes sense, because if he can't get up front, while he does have that safety net floor that others don't have, like Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, their ceilings are very high. I mean, you got to think of it like Martinsville, where we had the place differential drivers of Truex and Hamlin. And the thing is, they sucked in practice. I just didn't want to touch them. I was wanting to be way heavier on the guys up front, like Chase Elliott and William Byron. And that ended up being the best way to go. And you could see something similar on this slate, although William Byron I can trust a lot more than Truex and Hamlin so far this year. So it's a little bit different. Because Byron, I mean, if you roster a Larson and he leads the first half of the race, William Byron can certainly be there for the second half. But if you want to be underweight, I do get it, because, again, the ceilings is only as easy for him to attain as somebody else. What's up, dude? Nice to have my wrenchman here. Appreciate it. What's up, Cameron? Good morning, Chris. Good morning. Should be a fun race today. Looking forward to it. I gotta make sure what time the Osmo show is. I believe it's right at 2, but I just want to make sure it's not an early start today. Yeah, we are live at 2 p.m. on Osmo, so we're good. Just wanted to make sure. Gemini says, what's good? What's up, Gemini? Chris, happy to be back. I'm finally getting your contest. Awesome. I don't know how filled it is. I just assume it's about to fill. I know it was well over 100 last night. It fills quite easily now, which is awesome. Do appreciate you guys filling that up each and every single week. But yeah, if you haven't gotten there already, make sure you find it. I'm sure someone will drop the link for you, or someone can invite you. All right, Dorito. Love saying that name. Good morning, Chris. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome. Let's get this money. Smash the like. Yeah, if you're just not getting here, leave a like on the stream. It does help me out. Hopefully we can get over 100. No idea where we're at right now, but I'll just assume you guys are doing it for me. Let's see. Johnny Mingo says, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, good afternoon. Looking forward to it. FE says, morning race fans. Hello, CP. Do with the wrench. Some things I'm not just going to say. What's up, Eric? CP, appreciate it, Eric. Right back at you, though. And congrats on getting engaged, I hear. That's absolutely awesome. Told us in Discord. Want to give you a little shout out there. Ty Gibbs Future Goat says, brave. Talking about spread. Yeah, it's scary to fade Byron today, but there is past to where it can work for sure. Especially for a 400 lap race. If this was like a 200 lap race, I would definitely be a lot heavier on Byron. I'm still heavy on Byron. I don't want to make it sound like I'm not heavy on Byron today. I do have a large chunk of him. I'm pretty even to the field. And over on Fanduel, he's just an excellent play. But Larson and Elliott do look very, very more so appealing in tournaments, which you can play both in cash too. That's fine. What's up, Robert? Dude says, got that Trump Oompa Loompa shade of orange perfected yet? I'm working on it. But you know, the Florida weather is definitely helping with that perfect shade. What's up, Rick? Brooklyn and Timmy says, Custer, my driver with the most exposure. Who is yours? Oh my. I mean, he's very good at Dover. I do worry about the slow lap he put up in practice. And not just the qualifying lap, in the 5 lap. I believe he was 26th. Yeah, 26th in the 5 lap. Not a huge sample size, so he can still be better than that. And obviously he's got a couple top 10s at Dover. My highest on driver as of right now is Kyle Larson. Well, actually, I have both him and William Byron tied for my highest. But Larson was the guy that popped up first. And then Elliott's right there with him. Like, I am very heavy on the Hendrick cars today. What's up, Mr. Miyagi? Bruce says, no Gator shirt today? Like, I don't like the Gators, really. Someone just gave me a shirt for it, so I wear it. I like the color blue. It works. But, yeah, no Gator shirt today. We are going just about as plain as it gets. Straight gray. What's up, David? Spread says, I overnighted Chris, my wife's favorite lipstick. Oh, Spread. You're lucky you don't know. I have to be nice to you. What's up, Gemini Mark? John says, sounds good. Awesome. What's up, Luis? PJ says, if you had to make one bet, what would it be? You mean just to win the race? I mean, I can't bet in Florida, so I don't know all the lines for everything. I do have the, odds to win the race. For me, it'd probably be, I mean, besides the chalk of Larson Elliott, William Byron still got pretty good odds. He was at plus 2,000 yesterday after practice and qualifying with the backup car. I think it's kind of steep. I mean, not much is going to change. Yeah, he starts in the back, but by halfway point of the race, he's going to be probably right there with his 200 teammates of Larson and Elliott. So I still think you're getting some decent odds there. I'm sure that got betted down a little bit. So I'm not sure it's going to be as nice, but I still like the value on Byron. Matthew says, Stars and Scrubs viable. 3 Dom, Priest, Gillen, Burt. It's fine in some lineups. I think I'm preferring the 2, and then my third guy being like a Reddick and Chastain in a lot of my lineups, or maybe a Kyle Busch. The 3 Dom lineups are just a little top heavy for me. It's no problem. You can do it, but I'm just not liking the way it looks. I saw Phil posted a poll on Twitter over what people are going to do in cash, and a lot of people are going to try to, at least according to the poll, we're trying to do Byron, Elliott, and Larson in the same lineup for cash. I don't like that. It's just really top heavy. You have to play Michael McDowell, Burton, and Gilliland, which I think, it's okay, it can work, but I think for cash you need to pick 2 of Byron, Elliott, Larson, then try to get like a Tyler Reddick in the middle. who honestly has a little bit of dominator upside, but he's starting 26 as well. I kind of like the two spend up approach more. Yes says, I know I'm like everybody else, but what do I do about Priest? Yeah, Priest is very interesting. We know he's getting some Stewart-Haas juice. I was not expecting the 15 car to be this fast. Like, that's why it's like, how much am I putting into practice? Because I don't think we're going to see a Rick Ware car running top 5 all day, which is what practice indicates how fast this car is. I mean, he was third in the 5 lap, second in the 10, fourth in the 15, and fourth in the 20. I think he's worth playing around 10%. Like, if this was a normal, week where, Rick Ware car was not this fast in practice, I am not touching him starting in 13th. But I think there's an outside chance where he runs around the top 15, top 18 all day, which is not terrible. But I really wish he was in that 4K range, like swap with Corey LaJoie. I mean, he's kind of expensive there, but over on Fanduel, he's free at $2,000. I'm not sure I've ever seen a driver at $2,000. He's worth playing. I have around 10% right now, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I think we have to at least buy into the speed a little bit. But it's not something I was expecting. What's up, Chase? Cody says, what's up, Chris? What's up, Cody? Morning, Jimmy. Steve says, I don't know about you guys, but I've been doing better with Xfinity and truck racing this year. I think Dover can be a little bit more predictable, so I have my hopes up for this week. I can't say the same. I've never touched Xfinity or trucks. It's just not for me. But I'm glad you've been finding some success with it. What's up, Mad Dog? Hoping for big money today? Me too. I feel it. Cameron says, DK cash question. I have Larson, so who would you add? Elliott McDowell or Logano and Custer? For DK cash, I guess I would go with Logano Custer, but I would try to find a way to get Byron in there if you don't already have him. What's up, Dave? Good morning. Are you playing 3 Hendricks in your lineup? For my main lineup? No, I'm playing 2. I can't get to 3. I don't like the way it looks if you're talking about a cash lineup. In tournaments, yeah, I mean, it's more viable in tournaments, but for cash, I think 2 is the best way to go, and then getting like a Reddick right in the middle. Chris says, cash head-to-head, Larson, Byron, Blaney, Custer, Gillen, and Burton, or swap Blaney and Custer for Reddick and 8,000. Yeah, I would rather go with the Reddick side, which is kind of what I've been hinting at, so I think you're probably going to end up building a similar lineup to me. Like, everyone's playing Byron and cash. Everyone's playing their favorite pick of either Larson or Elliott. I think a lot of people get to Reddick. Everyone's playing Gillen and Burton down low, and then there's just one guy left that you kind of throw in at the end. David says, feel like Byron is a trap. I mean, he could be a trap. He's still one of the best drivers. And like, the only reason you wouldn't like him is because he went to a backup car and he wrecked in practice, but I mean, we're talking about William Byron. He's going to have speed. He's been one of the fastest cars this year. He's still going to be fast in a backup. I'm never really concerned when a guy goes to a backup car. I think we all remember when Kyle Busch was driving a parts car from Hamlin, and he went right to the front of the field and was leading laps and honestly could have won that race. So I would not overreact to a backup car. But if he does not get up front and dominate, he's going to be a good play still, assuming he contends for a top 5. But if Elliott and Larson both led 150, 200 laps, he's definitely not going to be in the optimal because it's going to be hard to fit all 3 of them in unless like Byron finishes top 5 and you just really nail your cheap guys. It's possible all 3 could be optimal, but we'll see. I feel like 2 of them is going to be the big 3 today. But I'm sure I have all 3 in there somewhere. I'd have to I don't know how I'd search in my lineups, but I'm sure I could find it if I do somehow. Spready with the wrench. Yes, sir. He's got wrench duty. Andrew says, what drivers are you looking at on Fanduel? Let me pull up some of my sim scores on Fanduel. I know Byron's just far and away the best play over there. So yeah, Byron, Reddick, Blaney, and Joey I'm getting a lot of over on Fanduel. And I think it's really just because of the price discount from Elliott and Larson. And the thing with Fanduel compared to DraftKings, dominator points aren't as important. So on DK, it's a lot different where, sim scores love Elliott, they love Larson, and they're just maybe a little bit lower on Byron. Fanduel, where, down points don't matter too much. You're getting 0.1 for a lap led. Byron's very top of the chart. Reddick, Logano, those guys have 3. All 3 of them have place differential upside, but all 3 have top 10 potential as well. I'm not sure what I'm doing with my single entry lineup over on Fanduel right now. I'm playing Byron for sure. I'm playing Reddick. After that, I'm not sure where I want to go. I want to get one of Larson or Elliott, but overall my lineup looks better when I don't play those two and I get to like a Logano and Blaney. But at the same time, I just feel like I'm missing out on like 200 laps led, which I know it's not a lot of dominator points over on FanDuel, but it's still enough to where it could bump some things, and I think one of them wins. So it's a dilemma for me right now. Trying to figure out what I want to do. See, my mom's here. Good morning, bud. I can hear you. A little surprised that you were a little late. Yeah, I'm always late for everything. Yes, let's go Logano. I mean, I like Logano a little bit today. The problem is he's just right there with Willie, so it's hard to get to a lot of him on DraftKings. On FanDuel, it's a little bit easier for me to get to a lot of Joey. Jimmy says, before I forget, Kevin Harvick or Tyler Reddick on DFS for DraftKings. I like Tyler Reddick. I think they have similar finishing position upside, but Reddick is starting 26. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick is starting 11th. I'll take the upside with Tyler Reddick there. Dude says, spreading $11, you demand spread. He sure is. He sure is. Robert says, Elliott, Larson, Byron, McDowell, Burton, Gilliland. If people are playing the three guys up top, that is what they're going to go with. I personally am not a huge fan of doing that. I like getting two up top and then grabbing Reddick in the middle. Blake says, I feel like I didn't have to get to too many scrubs over on FanDuel. Reddick and Austin Dillon are my cheapest plays. Thoughts? That's totally fine. I don't really like getting the scrubs too much over on FanDuel because just the way roster construction works over there, they're not usually in the optimal too often. As cheap as I was going over on FanDuel a lot, I believe I was getting to, yeah, Austin Dillon $6,300. The price is just way too low on him. He's someone I'm definitely getting to a lot of. I'm curious what your lineup is if Dillon and Reddick are your cheapest. I feel like I had something built similar, but I don't. I have to pull my FanDuel stuff up. Russian Bot says, my man, thanks. I'm going to try to figure out Patreon again before next Sunday. I hope you can figure it out. Be more than happy to have you over there. Chris says, cash head-to-head, Larson, Byron, Blaney, Custer, Gillen, and Burton. Or go Elliott over Blaney. If you have enough money for Elliott over Blaney, I would. Especially in cash today. Michael says, what happened to Byron in practice and qualifying to make him start this low? So I didn't see exactly how he wrecked because I was doing an Osimo show during it, but I glanced at, I was still had a little window up, and I saw his wheel just all bent. So he got, I forget what happened, but he hit something, and now he's going to go to the back. Obviously, didn't get anything for practice, but it's still William Byron. He's going to be fine. Backup car. But it wasn't just because he was slow. It's just because he totaled his car. Earl says he spun out. Is that what happened? Yeah, I saw the video of his car limping after it wrecked, but I didn't see how it happened. Cody says, Chris, who is the biggest sleeper driver today? Sleeper driver? So one that nobody's I mean, Joey Logano kind of feels like a sleeper driver over on DraftKings. He was decently fast in practice. He's like your pivot off of William Byron. He's definitely going to be pretty low owned because of that. I mean, you have Byron there, Bowman. He's definitely the guy that people are going to get the least to of. I believe in the 10K and up range, so I guess he's going to be your sleeper driver. That could surprise. Dave says, let's crush the field today, CP. That's the plan, Dave. Hopefully we can. Best 2 to 3 plays under $6,100 on DraftKings. For me, it's Gilliland and Harrison Burton down low. It's the 2 best plays below $6,100. John says, Elliott, Byron, Reddick, Austin Dillon, Gilliland, Burton, good for DK cash. Yeah, it's very solid. I have the same lineup besides one driver, so I'll let you figure out which one it is, but we're pretty close. Man, Andy's here out of nowhere. I'm sure you put the one GIF in Discord. You know what I'm talking about. It's nice to have you here. And yeah, if you haven't already, hit the like. It does help me out quite a bit. Steve Austin says, finally decided to show up for work. Yeah, I was late to work. Andy was late to work, so we're all the same here. The wonderful Juliana is here. Good morning, everyone. Good luck today. Definitely need some luck today. Talladega was not lucky for me. I think all my drivers crashed first. Didn't have fun with that. Natalie says, due to bad weather coming around 6, think may possibly end early. It's possible, but I hate really trying to build lineups for the weather. Like, we tried doing that for Bristol Dirt a little bit in the Discord, running Sims, Hunter was, for a rain-shortened race, and we thought it was going to end multiple times. It did, and I don't really like building lineups for weather because you never know what's going to happen. I want to set myself up for failure. I'm going to look up the Dover weather, though, really quick. See what's changed. I know someone in my comment section was saying they're going to the race and the forecast did not look good. So we'll see. But it does look like later in the day the rain definitely picks up. So hopefully we can get this done in time, or just rain doesn't pop up on the track. But I think we've been pretty solid with the rain so far, even the past year or so. Wayne says, took down the Xfinity race yesterday. Awesome. Unfortunately, I had to share the pod with 8 others. Do it again. Hey, I would rather share in first, hold hands in first, than not get first at all. So that's absolutely awesome. Congratulations on that. Spread says 13 spots left open in the contest. So if you haven't joined already, 13 spots, come in. I think first place is what, $100-something, and then it just trickles down from there. But fun time to get in. Jason says, well, man, I dug a big hole. Need your help. It's Jason again. Gun to your head, your favorite 2 drivers. Oh, boy. If there's a gun to my head, I'm saying Larson or Elliott. If you want the steeper odds, William Byron. But I think it's a Hendrick car today. The odds aren't as pretty, but last time I looked, it's 450 on Larson, 660 for Elliott. 2,000 on Byron. Let me pull up the most recent odds. I'm sure Byron's probably, what, at 1,500 now? 1,600. Okay, so yeah, I definitely thought there was good value on the 2,000. Larson's the same. Elliott's down to 600. Man, I'd just be really surprised if it's not one of the 2 Hendrick cars up top. Ty Gibbs says, I'm just in an Elliott or Byron decision. Yeah. In tournaments, I'd almost want to lean Elliott and Larson together. But, man, Elliott and Byron's is a really... Oh, you mean... Oh, you're deciding between Elliott or Byron. It's tough. It depends on... I mean, if it's cash games, I'm going Byron. If it's tournaments, I think Elliott's maybe more appealing because of the dominant upside, especially early on in the race. But it really is a coin flip today. Jason says, I'm in a grave. It's Jason. Anyway, Ryan says, sup, Chris? How you doing? Doing well. Doing well. Looking forward to it. I'll be traveling on Tuesday, so hopefully we just have a good weekend here. And looking forward to it. Hopefully you're doing good as well. What's up, $1 Million Sean? Morning, boss. Thoughts on Harvick and Kyle Busch? Yeah, so from the 9K range, I don't like Truex, I don't really like Hamlin, but Harvick and Busch are guys I am getting to. I'm looking at above 20% exposure personally for me right now on Harvick and Busch. I love the price point. Busch was, I believe, the fastest car for JGR. Everyone else was pretty slow. Hamlin was 18th in the 10 lap. Truex is 23rd in the 5. Busch showed top 8, top 5 speeds across the board, though, so I think he's looking like the one JGR guy to go for. Christopher Bell was 6th in the 5 lap, but fell to 17th in the 10 lap. So I'm definitely behind Busch if I had to roster Toyota today. And then Kevin Harvick, he's just been kind of overall solid this year. We know he's great at Dover, which I don't really like to bring up track history too much these days, but Harvick has not been bad this year. So I think starting 11th and Busch starting 10th are decent plays today. Mike says the best driver for $5,500 and under on DraftKings, that would be Harrison Burton for me. Ryan says, what do you think about Hamlin as a DFS play? I'm not a big fan. I know he's cheap. I know he can be good at Dover. Starting in second. It's just, when the JGR cars suck in practice, they haven't really been that great during the race. And Hamlin was 18th in the 5 and 10 lap. Could he get up front early? Sure, but I don't know how long he could even hold off Elliott or Larson, who look like they're going to be much faster, and they've been faster this year. I'm not personally on Hamlin. He's going to have some ownership because of the price point and where he's starting, but I don't really want to be a part of it, to be honest. If he burns me, he burns me, but I'd rather be overweight on guys like Elliott and Larson than trying to be more even spread out up top. I'd rather just kind of get my battle with the Hendrick cars. See, Austin says, thoughts on Logano? It's Chris. Joey is an interesting play today. I think I'm going to get close to 20%. Let me mute my mic. My sim scores don't like him as much, but I do think he's a pretty decent pivot off of Byron. He showed top 8 speeds across the board in practice, and he's capable of having good races at Dover. I mean, we like Blaney, his teammate. I assume both cars are going to be pretty fast, and Joey's actually been a lot better than what I thought so far this season after I was looking at some of his numbers. And he could easily gain you 15 spots, 10 to 15 spots in this race, and he's below 11K. I think a lot of laps you don't have Byron, I would get to Joey Logano as a decent pivot. I know he's starting 11 spots further up, so the upside's not as high, but I still think Joey can be a threat in this race. He's not a fade for me by any means. I almost wrote him up in my tournament article. Philly Man says, how many 6,000 and under guys will be in the optimal lineup? Thanks, Chris. I think 2. It's going to depend on what happens up top. So let's say Larson leads 150 laps, Elliott leads 150, then Byron led like 50 and finishes 3rd. We could see a scenario where there is 3 guys under the $6,000 range in the optimal lineup, but I do think it's most likely we see 2. Could be 1 to 2, but I think we do end up seeing 2 as long as the top level guys dominate. If it happens to be some mid-range guys that dominate, like a Hamlin and a Buescher and a Chastain, you could see maybe like 1 guy down there, maybe not even at all if it's more balanced, but I don't think that's as likely. Robert says Keselowski or Dillon. I personally like Dillon more. He's been way more consistent this year. I know Kes had that P1 in the 5 lap in practice, but wasn't a whole lot of data from him, so I'm not sure how much I'd really want to put into it. I personally prefer Austin Dillon. Jason says, wish I could bet Hamlin's speeding penalty. I would love for that to happen today. I would not mind a Hamlin speeding penalty, but yeah, he's had a rough go of it so far this year. He really has, besides that one when he kind of lucked into. Dude says, per Bob, the GOAT, which he is indeed the GOAT. 311 for the Cup race. Stages are 120, 130, and 150. 9 sets of tires. Fuel is 92 to 98 laps. To the rear, we have Byron, Bulicki. They're already in the back anyway, and no tech today except for 21, 24, 38, 77. Appreciate it, dude. There's your information for today's race. That should cover all the technical questions, hopefully. Ken says, Rex are a lot of green flag laps today. I think we're going to be green. I mean, we obviously could see a spin under 2, but I'm not expecting a wreck fest. I think it's pretty green for the most part. What's up, Mike? Hey, Chris, how's it going? Doing well. Just hanging out. Answer some questions. What do I love to do on some Sundays? Nice to see all the wrenchmen show up for work. Thought I was going to have to fire. Yeah, I was going to have to give you the wrench if they weren't showing up. I do appreciate them showing up, though. Makes my job a little bit easier. Mad Dog says, I got Larson, Blaney, Byron, Priest, Burton, and Gillen. What you think? I mean, it's top heavy, but I like all the cheap guys you have. I like Burton. I like Gillen, obviously. Priest, he's an interesting case study today. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but he was fast in practice, so I'm willing to take some shots. Bruce says, favorite tournament play? Probably Chastain. Chastain or I want to say Elliott, but I know he's going to be chalky, but I don't think he's going to be as high owned as Larson if you wanted to do a pivot, but I like Chastain a lot in tournaments. Elliott's the trap? I don't know about that. Don't know about that. Zach says, sorry if this has been mentioned already, but is Elliott the stronger pick over Larson today? Showed stronger speed, 15 laps in, but I'm worried Allen is going to do his thing. They're 1A, 1B for me. I have the slightly into Larson. Larson crushes Dover, crushes Bristol, which, I mean, Chase is pretty good at Bristol too. He also crushes Darlington, some of the similar tracks I'm looking at. Chase Elliott's definitely been a bit... I mean, if you're looking at the 2022 numbers, Elliott's been averaging 50 DraftKings points per race. Larson at 37.5. Elliott does not have quite the finishes of Larson, but he's been also just... Elliott's been very good as well. I mean, he's right up there for the points leader. I think Larson is the slightly better play, but it's very close. But if I had to bet on someone to lead more laps, for me, it's Larson. It sucks how close of plays they are today. Now, they're starting right next to each other. They're both the 2 highest price owned drivers. They're both going to be high owned, and they're both 1 and 2 in practice. It's like, how do you even pick? You just have to flip a coin and hope the one guy is faster at the beginning of the race. Because track position will definitely be important. So, I mean, it's probably going to depend on what happens after the competition caution and pit stops. But Elliott's definitely had a great career so far this year. Looking at some of the pit stop times, Elliott's been number 1 overall, Chastain, then Larson, and Byron. Man, it's so close. Dude says the wrench is strong with this one. My exit interview might be bloody. Alright. Palmer says favorite cash guy between $7,500 and $8,000. For me, it's Austin Dillon. It could be close between him or Keselowski, but I'd prefer Austin Dillon. 4 spots further back. I know practice wasn't super impressive, but he can figure it out. Andre says fading Byron and GPPs, I think. Like, on paper, it sounds awful, but I get it. I do understand fading Byron in tournaments today. Like, if you just want to plant your flag and be heavier on the guys up front that can get dominant points easier, I understand it. I don't think that's a bad move. Could it burn you? Yes, but anything could burn you. You gotta take a stance somewhere. Robert says Elliott and Briscoe or Larson, and I would go with the second one there, Larson and Dillon. Family Man says I like Logano as a pivot off of Byron. I do think he's a pretty decent pivot off of Byron today. If you just want to get much lower ownership on a driver with, I think that has similar upside today. Do I prefer Byron? Yes, but if you're just looking for lower ownership, Joey's the play. K Sizzle says, first time playing on Fanduel. Should I focus on place differential or finishing position? It's kind of a mix of both. So, like, just because Cole Custer has a lot of place differential doesn't mean he's a great play over on Fanduel. Finishing position is very important. I mean, looking at some of my projections on Fanduel. So I have Byron first. So yes, a lot of place differential. Larson I have projected to win the race, but I don't have him as highly projected as William Byron because dominator points just don't rack up too much. Like over on Fanduel, I have Larson projected for 47.33 dominator points. I have Byron at 41.75. And I have Byron projected to finish 3 spots further back, but I still have Byron as the higher projected driver, if that helps. Makes sense in your mind. Other examples, I have Logano projected higher than Alex Bowman. It's not by a ton, but still. But I don't have Logano as highly projected as Ryan Blaney. So, I mean, it's a mixture of both the finishing position and place differential. It really just depends on the driver. But my top 3 projected on FanDuel right now are Byron 1, then Larson, then Elliott. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a mixture of both. It's not just one or the other. Race sheets, man, Phil's here. Chris, I built 4 cash lineups and none went Elliott plus Larson plus Byron. That build is going to be way too chalky since everyone knows how those final 3 spots. And yeah, I don't even really like that kind of a build. Like, it can work for sure, but I don't think I want Burton, McDowell, and Gilliland in my cash lineup. 2 are fine. I feel just fine with Gilliland and Harrison Burton. But I don't want to get McDowell in there as well. And I feel good with Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick has, I mean, he doesn't have the ceiling that Chase Elliott has, but let's say Elliott doesn't dominate and you have him in cash. I mean, Reddick doesn't have to do too much to outscore him. I like just having one of the 200 drivers up front and then getting a Reddick in the middle. So I think we're on the same page there. What's your thoughts on the dinger? Thanks again, Chris. I don't have much on my dinger today. I think I have around 10 to 15%. Like, he's okay. Practice 13th in the 5 lap, 6th in the 10. I'm not going to complain there. He's a pivot off of Custer, who's going to have some ownership. He's also right beside Chris Buescher, who people will play a little bit just because he's on the pole. But Dinger's just kind of one of those guys down there where if I'm building a lot of lineups, he just gets mixed in at the end to differentiate. But I have no strong stances on Dinger. Any Truex left today? No, not for me. 23rd in the 5 lap. When Truex has been bad in practice, he just kind of sucks during the race. Starting in 18th, I just don't think he's going to be able to get up front and dominate, which is what I'm going to kind of need around $10,000. So I'm just not going to play Truex. If it gets up front, just know I had a bad day. But I do think it's very unlikely. Harvick and Kyle Busch, those are my 2 favorite 9K drivers today. I both think have top 5 upside. Do I think they're going to go front and dominate? No, the potential is there. They were both fine in practice, but they're fine. I have around 20%. How about Suarez? I am not playing Suarez today. It's just mainly the starting position for me. He is starting in 8th, $7,900. I think Keselowski and Dillon can finish in a similar spot to Daniel Suarez. They can get them cheaper. Didn't get anything in practice from Suarez. If you're looking at what he's done so far this season, average range position 22nd, average finish of 19th. Does have a top 5 and 2 top 10s, but starting in 8th really makes him a tough play in my opinion. FE says price picks, or have they already adjusted? Let me check. I liked Reddick over 42.5. Yeah, Reddick still 42.5. It seems like a pretty fair price, or price, like a prop. Byron I had at 59.5. He's now up to 61. And I had Blaney at 46.5. Larson went up from 67.5 to 69.5. Let me see if the laps led props changed. Don't believe those did. Kind of interesting. They have Elliott for more fast laps than Larson. Just seems odd. Yeah, I really like the Reddick one the most, I think. I like Byron at 59.5, 61.5. I still think it's fine, but it's not as appealing. Philip says Austin, Dillon, or Reddick. Reddick for me. Just 2 spots further back, and Reddick's got more, top level speed, it seems like. Or he's got like the potential to get up front and dominate. I'm not really expecting that today, but it's possible. Cody says Ty Dillon today. Ty Dillon's on a bad pivot down low. Like everyone's playing Gillen, everyone's playing Burton. A lot of people will play Custer as well. Dillon's kind of that one guy that people might forget about. We're in similar spots so far this year. He's been very high owned, so I don't think we should just really get away from Ty Dillon. I'm still playing him. Reddick or Chastain, a tough decision. It really is. I think in cash games, it's Reddick. In tournaments, Chastain, I think, got the better chance to dominate. So, kind of the lean there. Better Luck DFS says, sorry if it's been asked. No problem at all. How about McDowell? McDowell's fine. He's going to be lower owned than Gillen and Burton. Do I like him as much? I don't, but he's got somewhat similar upside. So, I mean, if you're just trying to get away from the 2 really chalky guys down low, he's fine. People will play him too as well, though. Zach says Chastain definitely the sleeper again. I'm definitely on Chastain today. I do like him quite a bit. Easy says, what's up, Easy? Jones or Almirola for cash? Almirola slightly for me. I mean, you get the 2 extra spots. Both feel like guys that always screw me, but I'll go with Almirola. I like Priest, but that car likes to break down. Yeah, no, that's the problem. That is the problem with the 15 car. He's fast though, but yeah, that car definitely is not easy to trust. That is for sure. Philly Man says, why Gillen? I've heard his name a lot. He showed us top 25 upside this year, starting in 34th. It's going to be hard for him to not be a decent play. Like, unless he wrecks, he's probably gaining close to 10 spots today, which I will take. 5 to 10 spots, 5 to 8 spots I'd even be happy with. He's very cheap. Bruce says, thoughts on Byron, Reddick, Logano, Chastain, Dillon for Fanduel single entry. I think for Fanduel, I was going to say if it's DraftKings, I think we're missing someone up front that can dominate early, but since it's on Fanduel, it's a little bit different. I don't think it's a bad lineup. I think that's pretty solid. FB says, Andy, you're here. He sure is. Anthony Balma says, morning, Chris, Fort Myers family. Yeah, what's up, Anthony? I forgot. I have another fellow Fort Myers and Fort Myersian, whatever you want. I don't know what the word would be here, but yeah, it's a nice day. It was very, very rainy yesterday, though. Like super rainy. Hopefully it doesn't rain today, though. John says, hey, Chris, who was your favorite low-cost option for large field GP for Fanduel? Thanks, buddy. Enjoy your Sunday. Thank you, Jason. For Fanduel, I'm getting to Austin Dillon a lot as far as like a cheap guy. If you mean like really cheap, Justin Haley, $2,500 just seems really cheap, to be honest. I'm not sure why he's priced below guys like Michael McDowell, same price as Bilicki and McLeod. That just seems a little aggressive on the underpricing there. So Haley, if you need a punt option over on Fanduel. Andre says Almirola, Custer, or Jones on Fanduel. Last spot. Let me see. Let me pull up the projections. So I have Eric Jones is the highest over there. I got him with the 20th place finish. Other guys a little bit further behind, but yeah, Jones there slightly. Philip says, you skipped my question? I don't think I did. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Austin, Dillon, or Reddick? Oh, yeah, I think I did answer that. If I didn't, I'm sorry, but it's Tyler Reddick for me. Thoughts on Almirola last man in on 3-down build? I don't have a problem with Almirola. He's fairly cheap, starting at 27. It'd be hard for him to not gain some spots today. I could see getting a handful, contend for a top 20. That'll work for me at $6,600. Tucker says, heard from Twitter that Priest's car is being prepared by Stewart-Haas Racing. Might explain the speed from practice. Yeah, I definitely have some Stewart-Haas juice this weekend. It's still a 15 car though, so it's like, I don't know. But I'm still playing them today. I would never, ever play the 15 car starting 13th in any other situation, but today I'm playing around 10%. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Dude says, things usually do not end well for a man named Custer. Just, that is very true. Very true. I never have luck rostering Custer, I swear. Grove says ring, trying to get me in trouble again. Race fan says Truex or Logano. For me, it's Joey. And I assume you like Joey since you're a race fan 22. Mr. Miyagi says thoughts on Ty Dillon. He's a fine cheap play. There's really nothing else I can say besides him starting 31st, and he could probably gain a few spots. There's nothing else. I can't really say anything nice about Ty Dillon. Jones or Almirola on Fanduel, slightly Jones for me. Slightly. They're the same price. I just think the finishing position upside is a little bit higher for Jones. But both guys love to screw me, so I wouldn't be surprised if both wrecked. Hunter says get a haircut. I'm actually getting a haircut tomorrow, so I'll be sure to send you some pictures. David says don't trust Byron tonight due to him driving backup. It doesn't really matter. I mean, backup cars for top level teams are just as good. BJ says, who's your dark horse pick to win? For like DFS. To win, I don't really see a dark horse winning today. I mean, maybe. I want to say Chastain is a dark horse, but he's won several times this year, so it doesn't even feel dark horses. It's just you wouldn't really expect him to win today, but I mean, I guess maybe like Logano for a dark horse. I don't think a lot of people would pick him to win today. Blake says, I'm thinking about scrapping my other single entry lineup for Elliott, Byron, Keselowski, Reddick, and Austin. Or I'm not sure which Dillon. What do you think about this one? I'm assuming it's Ty Dillon because I just don't think you could afford Austin Dillon there. So you have Elliott and Byron. I like Reddick a lot. Keselowski's fine. Assuming it's Ty, that's a fine lineup. I have no problem with that. Jesse says Chastain for tournaments. Yeah, I love Chastain for tournaments today. Definitely like Chastain. Dude says 40% chance of rain at 6, 30% chance at 7, clear otherwise. It's not too bad. We should be good to go today as far as the weather, hopefully. Kyle Busch or William Byron? For me, that's Byron. Not very close in price unless... Yeah, they're like 3,500 off on FanDuel and 2,000 over on DK. Travis Miller says, my sleeper is Custer today. Check out his stats at Dover. Yes, he is good at Dover, but man, he practiced, which was a small sample size, just doesn't give me too much confidence. But we'll see. I mean, for DFS purposes, I mean, he's fine play, $6,100. I was thinking in my head of winning the race, but... Gemini Mark says, your contest is almost full. I'm sure we'll fill, so do appreciate everyone filling it up for me. Makes it fun. And if you haven't already, might be a couple spots left, so come on in and join. How do I feel about Bell today? I don't really like Bell. I usually just play him at the short flat tracks. Not really. I mean, there's some other places I play him. Starting in 17th, I'm just not a huge fan. He was 17th in the 10 lap, 6th in the 5 lap, which is fine, but I'm just pretty heavy on Reddick and Chastain in the 8K range. Dude says competition caution at lap 40 to check tires. Yeah, we got that news I want to say about an hour ago from Bob, so always a big thanks to Bob making our lives easier. Jeremy says, how many dominator points in this race? We have 280 up for grabs. Dan Marino says, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Yeah, it does help me out. I do appreciate it. Big Ritter says, do you like any of the scrubs today? As far as scrubs, if you mean McLeod, Bilicki, and Ware, no. If you mean like Gillen, Burton, yes. Is Priest worth a shot? Yeah, it's dangerous, but he's worth a shot. I can't ignore how fast he was in practice. Spread says, take a look at the Nashville results as well. Yeah, I probably should have thrown some Nashville into the similar tracks. But, I mean, Kyle Larson did dominate Nashville last year. Prodigy says, for cash, McDowell, Priest, or Gilland? Gilland for me. Joel says, you think Optimal will have Elliott and Larson? It's possible. They're both going to have to dominate, though. If Elliott does not dominate, he's not going to be in the Optimal. We'll probably see William Byron up there unless someone else just really takes over, like a Blaney or Bowman. Do I think it's likely those two dominate, though, and could be in the Optimal lineup? Yes, because I do a lot of them. Dan Marina says, sorry if I missed. Do you like any other pivots off of Byron besides Logano? He's like the only like guy you can consider a pivot as far as like being a similar play, since they both offer you place differential. I love Ryan Blaney though, and I like Bowman a lot, if you want to consider them pivots. But they don't feel like the same plays. They feel like pivots off of Larson and Elliott more so. You're welcome, Elric. How did Custer do in practice? Not a big sample size. We had a 5-lap run, but he was 26. It wasn't impressive. Robert says, Chris is the... Is that a sheep or a goat? I think I got called a sheep. I'm going to assume you meant goat, and I'll make myself happier. Kevin says, McDowell or Burton? Burton for me. What's up, Andrew? I am here late. That's okay. I have Larson at plus 500, Chastain at 1450, Bell at 2600. I like the Chastain number you got. I like that Chastain number. And obviously Larson, I think there's a good chance he wins. Mike says, I know I just got here. If Elliott or Larson don't win, would you next pick Blaney or Denny? Because I plan to full fade Elliott and Larson. No, that sounds terrifying. Yeah, if I was fading, hypothetically, if I was fading Larson or Elliott, I would be very heavy on Blaney and Bowman personally. And pretty heavy on Chastain too up top. I am not huge on Denny, but if you had 0% Larson or Elliott, I'd probably get some more Hamlin for sure. Steven says, will Buescher lead many laps starting first? I'm hoping not. I didn't project him for too many, plus the competition caution lap 40 most certainly does not help his case to be a main dominator today. Looking at my projections, I gave him... Let me check. I gave Buescher 13.7 laps and 8.5 fast laps, which is about 7.5 dominator points. I gave him a 13th place finish. It's not a bad day. I got him projected around like 25, 30 points. It's not great, but I don't think he leads past the competition caution. And I think that's like the ceiling as far as his dominator points go. We'll see though. Could be wrong, but I'm willing to bet he does not lead like over 50, 60 laps today. Prodigy says Truex has finished top 2 in 4 of the last 5 races here. Yeah, Truex is very good at Dover. It's just track history hasn't really meant much this year with the next gen cars. Like, yeah, he's awesome here, but track history doesn't mean much anymore. It does a little bit, but not too much. Albert says stars and scrubs today. Single entry GPP: Elliott, Larson, Blaney, Custer, Burton, and Gilly. Pivoting from Larson and Custer to Chastain and Reddick and another. I think that sounds good. I got no problem with that. Got no problem with that. Or is that a lamb? I'm not sure. Andrew says, my account has Byron at plus 1750. Can his backup car come from the back? Yeah. A Byron backup car is better than most of the field still. Like, he's going to be fine. Just never forget when Kyle Busch drove like a shopping cart to first place. I forget, was that at Vegas, I think? Had the backup car from, like a shop car from Denny Hamlin. Sheep are white and furry, goats are skinny with goatees, and lambs are tasty. I've never had lamb. I've heard it's good, but I just feel weird eating a lamb. Would I go tie Dillon on Fanduel? Probably not. Priest is underpriced. Problem is his pit crew. Yeah, and pit road's definitely going to be pretty important today. Especially with track position for those cheaper guys. Because it's not like Priest has the luxury of being able to have a safety net starting at 30th. He's starting 13th, so every little spot's going to be big for him. How many DOMs per line? 1 to 2. Not counting Byron as a DOM, looking at 1 to 2. You can stretch it to 3 if you consider a guy like Chastain as a DOM, which I guess you can. He just feels underpriced to be called a DOM, but he certainly is capable of doing that. Michael says, what do you think of Reddick, Larson, Briscoe, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, and Almirola? It's solid. The problem is I feel like we need another dominator in the lineup. Like Reddick, yeah, I know he has dominator potential, but he's also a big PD guy. I would probably try to find 2 DOMs closer to the front, and then fill out the rest. Unless you think Larson leads like 350 laps today, then that's a good lineup, but I'm not sure that'll be the case. Mad Dog says, Burton, Byron, Chastain, Elliott, McDowell, Reddick. What do you think? So we have Elliott and Byron. I like that. We have Chastain, Reddick. Yeah, that's a good lineup. Don't mind that at all. FE says, 230 watching, 77 likes. Come on, folks. Get CP over 100 likes. Yeah, if we get over 100, that'd be awesome. Would appreciate it. Anthony says, can you tell my kids to get off the iPad so I can get some lineups? Yeah, you might have to ask them for that. You gotta get your lineups in. We have 3 hours though, so maybe they can play a little bit longer. But the lineups are definitely important, especially depending on how many you have to build. Mr. Miyagi says Larson, Elliott, Reddick, Chastain, Burton, McLeod. I don't think I can do McLeod. The rest looks great, but I don't think I can do McLeod. Steve says, what tracks, if any, they've already raced this year, can you compare to Dover? Not really much. Like, the tracks we've had so far this year. Pull up the schedule here. So, as far as like normal tracks go, excluding road courses and super speedways, been to Auto Club, been to Vegas, been to Phoenix, Richmond, Martinsville. Like, there's really nothing you can compare too much to Dover. I always call it Big Bristol. We have not been to regular Bristol yet, and we obviously haven't been to Darlington either, so, which we're at Darlington next weekend, so which is actually nice, because, you know, whoever's good at Dover today, I think that should translate maybe a little bit to Darlington next weekend. So really no comparable tracks, but the guys that have been fast in the next-gen car I think will be fast, and obviously the guys fast in practice as well. Tito, your message got retracted. I just like broke my Fitbit, it felt like. What's up, Pedro? I'm in Laguna Seca today, but what's the average to leave on the table this week? Well, hope you have fun there. The average to leave on the table, I don't think you're going to leave too much on the table today. I'm going to pull up the Opto and see what the average would be, as I usually do, with just no rules, see how much money is there. I changed the password, I forgot. Hold on, I'll answer you in a second. If Buescher is going to be low owned, can he be a good GPP play? Maybe leave 40 laps in top 10? That could pay off his salary. It's certainly possible. I think Buescher comes in around 50% ownership, so I'm not sure if you want to consider that low owned or not for where he's starting. It's a tough road for him to be optimal. Burton has definitely a much higher floor, but Buescher has a decently high ceiling for where he's starting. He's probably going to have to lead 40 plus laps, and the top 10 is definitely going to be needed, which it's possible. I have some Chris Buescher, but I'd rather be underweight personally. Sorry, I'm trying to pull my Opto. Whenever I have to change the password, I always get logged out. Tito says 100% Kyle Busch and the 150. Let's get it. Tito, that sounds awful. You're going to be tilting in chat all day. Okay. We've updated the password. All right. Let me crunch 20 quick, and we'll see what pops up. Julian says, I think we can talk about rings. I'm sure you would love that. Okay, so for the statistics on 20 lineups crunch, no rules. Average salary use is $49,800. So you're going to be using a lot of your salary today for the most part. It's just because everyone's expensive. Byron's expensive. Blaney, Bowman, Elliott, Larson. It's hard to leave too much money on the table today and like your lineup. What about Christopher Bell? I'm not huge on Bell today. Just not a huge fan. I like him at the short flats. Pockgrass said that it's a Rick Ware prepared car, just had Stewart-Haas Racing help in the garage to get the car through tech. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got help from Stewart-Haas. It's still a 15 car, though. I'm kind of excited to see what happens with Ryan Preece today. I really am. Andrew says, bro, you've been in the gym. You put on at least 10 pounds of mass. Good job. Appreciate it, Andrew. Appreciate it. We have the apartment gym here, but they don't have, like, racks or anything, so I had to get a gym membership, and it's definitely a lot nicer there. You can actually do stuff. But I appreciate it. Jason says, top 3 picks for prize picks. I like the Reddick, Blaney, and Byron over. Wasn't a whole lot of other stuff I liked. I don't think the Byron or Elliott lap sled props are too bad if you want to take those over. Andre says, Jules is here for the puppy and ring talk. Yeah, that is for sure. Her 2 favorite things. John says, who will have a better finish between Bowman and Byron? I have it projected to be Byron, but they're right next to each other, my projections. Got slightly in for Byron, though. Bear Gaming says, are we sleeping on Bowman? I am not, but I'm just not getting any questions about him, so I haven't brought him up. But I do think Bowman's a good play today. I plan on being overweight. It might be the forgotten about Hendrick card today because everyone likes Larson, Elliott, and Byron. I guess Bowman just kind of is the lost one, but I like him quite a bit today. He's very good at Dover. And even then, if he wasn't good at Dover, it's a Hendrick card and hard to bet against him. DD says, Harrison Burton could be free on DK, and I still wouldn't play him. He is that bad of a driver? Well, I don't know if I can say the same. I'm not expecting much out of him, but he's definitely better than 35th place. Dude says, first day of the month is a great time to join Chris's Patreon to sponsor the ring. Yeah, that's one way to get people to sign up, that's for sure. That is for sure. What's up, Sarah? Nice to have you here. Blake says it was Austin Dillon and the Elliott. Oh, over on Fanduel. Oh, sorry. I didn't know if there was 5 or 6 drivers there. That sounds pretty good to me. Sounds really good, especially if it is Austin Dillon. Blender Logano on Fanduel. It's very close for me. I have... Okay, so it's... Projection-wise, I have Blaney at 82.54, and I have Joey at 82.44, so it's 0.1 off. Joey's a little bit safer, I will say, but it's super close. I got you, Travis. Someone asked the question beforehand, so I was like, Custer winning? I don't know about that, but yeah, for DFS purposes, I can definitely play some Custer today. Michael says, what do you think of Larson, Briscoe, Austin Dillon, Reddick, Eric Jones? Oh, I think I answered that one. Chastain or Harvick? I'll go with Chastain there. Joel says, think McDowell is optimal in GPP? You telling me you think that, or if you're asking me if I think that? I mean, it's possible. Something will have to happen to Burton or Gillen, though. Andrew says, just picked up Elliott 535 and Byron at plus 17. I like the value on Byron. Like I know he's in a backup car. I know he's in the back, but at the halfway point of the race when Byron's in the top 10 or probably close to the top 5, it's like, no, he's there already. So fading Bowman in the Hendrick stable. I mean, of all the Hendrick drivers, he's my least favorite, but I still think he's a top 5 contender today. But if I had to fade one Hendrick driver, I guess it would be Bowman. Spread doing the dirty work for me. Thank you for access to the spreadsheets, including ownership, projections, and all that stuff. Patreon link is right there. Appreciate it, Spread. Thank you very much. What's up, Riggs? Just got on. Awesome. Hopefully we make some good lineups today. American Bold says, thanks, my man. Like number 89. Give him some likes. Appreciate it, American. Appreciate it. Jimmy says, the famous Bubba Wallace question. Do we play for 30 DFS points? Ooh, for him to get 30 points today. I have Bubba at 22. And I'm pretty sure I bumped it up manually because it was lower than that. But I wanted him to pop in some lineups. So just not really pop up too much, but just a little bit easier to pop in. So I gave him a little of a bump to 22, but I do not like Bubba today. For him to get 30, he is going to have to get, because you got to assume he's not going to get any dominator points. Bubba would need a top 11. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No. And even then, it's not like he's cheap. 30 points is not going to be the optimal way to go at $7,100. So you're gonna need for sure top 10 on a Bubba and a little bit more on Fanduel. It's a little bit easier to get to because he's $5,500, but it's tough. Favorites for Fanduel single entry. Love Larson, or not Larson. I mean, I do like Larson. I like Byron a lot over there. I also really like Tyler Reddick. Those are my two favorite over on Fanduel. Top 5 bets, Byron plus 250, Elliott minus 145, Larson minus. Yeah, I like those. Steven says, how much is too much Busher and Burton? I don't like more than 15% Busher today. As far as Burton goes, I have a lot. I have around 40. It's just the nature of this slate where if I want to get the studs up top, I just have to get to some of the scrubs down low, and Burton's definitely, look on paper, the best option. What do the tiers mean on my cheat sheet? So of the pricing tiers, I give them a rank from 1 to 2, or 1 to whatever. So for like the 11K range, I have like Byron, Elliott, Larson rank 1 through 3 on there. So that's what it is. Albert says, my lineup in your contest on DK finished 95th from last week, I assume. Logano, Reddick, Stenhouse, Busher, and Custer all wrecked. Was hoping Elliott would wreck so I could see 6 flipped red cars in my lineup. Yeah, that was... Last week was not fun. All my guys wrecked. All of them. I mean, I had other lineups that didn't wreck, but man, just my main stuff, they just all died. Sucked. Gideon says $500 on Priest at 75 to 1. Oh my gosh. Good luck. If Ryan Priest won today, I'm not sure what to say, really. I'd be very happy for you, though. Nathan says, I don't even watch NASCAR, but come here every week and usually cash. Awesome, Nathan. That's awesome. Great job, Chris. Florida Man Pennell. I like it. Sounds good. Rolls off the tongue well. Hopefully you keep it up, Nathan. Tyler says, a 3-max entry. Who is going to be optimal to keep in all 3 entries? I don't know about all 3. I mean, if you're playing, I feel the best with William Byron. But a Byron or a Larson. So I'm not sure I could click on just one to lock and all. Geb's fading Byron. It's a scary fade for sure. Triple G says grouping. As far as groups today, it's just building a dominator group with the potential dominators, which kind of obvious, like Larson, Elliott, Byron. I'm not sure I'd put Byron in there. Blaney, Bowman, you can throw Hamlin in, Busch, Harvick, Chastain, and a dominator group. And make sure you get at least 1, preferably 2. Kay says, last man in on Fanduel GPP, 10K or less, leaning towards Reddick, but let's see, 10K or less over on Fanduel. Yeah, my projections like Reddick the most there. Tito says, going all in on Truex, Kyle, and Hamlin, someone help me. That does not sound fun, Tito, is all I'm going to say. De Palma says, prize picks, hammer the unders on Busher, Wallace, Stenhouse, Keselowski, and Kurt Busch. I don't know what their numbers are exactly, but it sounds good to me. I don't really like any of those guys today, so I'm with you. LaJoy or Burton? I feel a lot better with Burton. Thoughts on Almirola? He's a fine PD play down low, starting in 27th. Should contend for a top 20. Don't think Almirola's a bad play. Michael says, just tuned in. I'm about to tune out, but I will answer your question. Who's your top 2 high-priced guys in best pump play? For me, I like Byron and Larson a lot. And then for the pump play, I like Harrison Burton. But I think I got through the whole chat. So unless there's any more dire questions, I will probably end up getting out of here. I do appreciate everyone stopping by today. I'll be in the Awesemo show in about an hour. 2 o'clock. We'll go up to lock at 3 o'clock. Should be a good time if you want to come in and hang out. But I think we're all good here. Okay. Well, that's awkward. I didn't end it yet. Do appreciate everyone stopping by. Have a good race today. If you hit me up on Twitter, you can do so. I'll try to find it. Yeah, that's about it. If you want to join the Patreon, you know where to find it. Link down below. Discord community. All that good stuff. But I'll see you guys next time.